Okay, we're bringing a bonus episode of the Lucky Dogs podcast this week, and that's because there's been a lot of driver movement between the teams. There's been excitement. There's a lot of juicy stuff to cover. There's been team owners that were retired. I don't even know what they're doing. They're going fishing, and now they're back. They're back. So that's Roland, Dane. But we thought we'd have a quick chat about it. We've got, a bit of time to cover it off. So I guess what's been the biggest stuff? The driver changes have been massive, and there's been a few announcements. So what have we seen so far?
Well, I feel like the driver change, obviously Premier, I guess Jimmy's gone to Blanchard's.
Yep.
And then, Richie's obviously been put aside or left because they haven't announced anything about that yet. But they've got Declan Fraser and Juso Jada
Yep.
going into drive. And I feel like that's been the paddock's worst kept secret for, I reckon, 5 months?
5 months,
yeah. 4 months. So, but they finally got announced, as well as new team principal, Roland Dane coming back, the Godfather. Yep. So it's going to be an interesting time.
Yep.
It's great for the sport, I think. Having him, coming back. He obviously ran and built 888, when he come into Australia back in, I think it was 04 or 05, I believe. So, it's great for the sport. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he still got it.
Yep. BJR. It will be interesting to see if BJR's dropped from 4 cars down to 3. 888's announced that they're now running an extra one. The driver hasn't been announced, but I think we'll run over all that. But that's pretty much the overview. But I think we get into each move by move, if we think it was a good idea, bad idea, why it happened, all that sort of stuff. So I think we've also got Nick Perat leaving as well. So we got people like that. But the first announcement, retiring
from full time.
I think the first announcement was Jimmy. So we'll talk about that. So Jimmy's announced that he's leaving Premier, going to BRT. A little bit more behind the scenes thing said that Pete said he'll make a decision after Bathurst, which obviously I don't think was the case. I think they've had these two sign there. So Jimmy's gone to Blanchard's. Do you think I'm guessing that was his option to move there. I'm guessing he didn't have...
I think that's a good move for Jimmy, to be honest. Obviously, with 888 going to Fords, I think they're going to be a customer team, I believe, to T8, and their performances as of late have really lifted since Dennis has gone there. So Dennis used to be, I believe, crew chief at Erebus back from, I think, 16 to basically end of 2020.
Yep, that's right.
So and I hold Dennis to a pretty high regard, and you can definitely see a difference in that place since he's gone there. And both those cars have been pretty competitive. Like Aaron qualified in the 10 at QR at one stage. Both cars were running up towards the front at Bathurst when the weather sort of come in. They've had good bouts of speeds at times. So I think Jimmy will do a good job there. Jimmy's a pretty good steerer too. So it's interesting that those guys obviously haven't had very good results at Premier this year, which is sort of hard to believe with, I guess the support they get from having, the same setups that you guys run, being a customer team there or whatnot. But really some couple of good results by Jimmy, but other than that, they've been in the 20s, which has been really disappointing.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think he gets better results next year with BRT than he's had this year?
100%.
Yep.
100%. I reckon Jimmy will go a lot better next year. And, that might just be due to, sometimes people have, go and have a 3-4 year relationship, and maybe it's just time to separate and go do something else. So, but I'm sort of stoked for Jimmy. He's going there, and I reckon he'll do a good job there.
It is pretty wild to say that he's definitely going to, and I agree with you, but he's going to get better. I think he will get better results with BRT, but it's pretty wild that Premier have put so much resources and everything into that, and Ludo and all the people like Romy. They've got such good people, and for some reason, like you say, they've got our setups as well. We sell them all that. Like, for some reason, it just hasn't gelled there. But I actually rate Jimmy. Obviously, he's come off doing a fantastic job at Bathurst in the wet and everything there. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the BRT move probably could end up being quite a good one for him. And do they keep Aaron Cameron in the other seat? Do you reckon?
I think Aaron's staying in the other seat, I believe. So
yep.
I don't know if that's confirmed. Could be, but but even he's been doing a pretty good job as of late. So both those cars have been definitely showing more signs of being more competitive, which is pretty good. And then obviously there's Richie, who's I believe they announced Premier announced their 2 drivers, but they haven't announced what's happening with him. No goodbyes, no nothing. So Richie said leading up into Bathurst said he's got a 2-year contract, which it was interesting. And then, Pete's comment saying he was disappointed that he's leaving. And then, it's the rumours being that these guys have been signed for months. So I don't know. It's interesting how it's all worked. But yeah, obviously didn't really have too much faith in the 2 drivers he had if he was going to say wait up to Bathurst.
Yeah, I don't know. We obviously don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but we'll still make comments, I guess. But
just an opinion.
Yeah, it's just an opinion, but it's interesting to not see Richie get, the farewell I guess he probably deserves, because I'd be very surprised if he gets a main game seat next year again with all the seats that are going. I think it'll be tough for him. So could mean that he's out of a seat for probably, I guess, the second time in his career now. And it's disappointing that he doesn't get sort of that farewell and probably the treatment I think he deserved. Like, I think every driver deserves, after putting in so much commitment and all that, like team personnel and everything, to get the goodbye. So, it was disappointing not to see an announcement there and then just see 2 drivers, because I was waiting for the Richie announcement. I thought Richie's announcement will come that he's no longer racing for him, and the next day the 2 drivers will come. And then all of a sudden it just popped up with
the 2 drivers.
The 2 drivers. And I was like, oh, well, what's happened to Richie? And I checked his social media. I went to Instagram. I'm like, has he announced anything? And there's still nothing on there. So it'll be interesting. We'll talk to him this weekend and, just see what his perspective was on it. I'd just like to...
maybe we get him on the podcast.
Yeah,
maybe comment, guys, down below if you want to see Richie jump on the podcast and...
He might be done as well, so he might really speak out. So
that might be interesting.
Yeah, that might be interesting. So, Richie. So we've covered off BRT. So Richie and Golding out of Premier. Ojeda, Fraser in. Do you think that's a gain for them?
I'm not too sure. I actually rate Jaden as a driver. I reckon he's actually pretty good. He got to spend some time with him at Erebus last year, and he's a really good young fella and pretty serious about his racing. So, But so was Jimmy and Richie as well. So, and then Declan, he's had a pretty interesting run last couple of years and sort of been in and out of seats and been a co-driver. But not sure. We'll have to see how that one plays out. I would have reckoned Richie would have been a better option over Declan, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard one to see how that plays out. Like, I think Ojeda, you are grabbing someone that is a good young guy that
got a lot of potential.
A lot of potential. You're signing someone with a lot of potential, really good. I raced him the whole way through in Formula Ford, F4. He then went and did, obviously all the GT3 stuff, but he's
fast and all that.
He's always been a good driver. So I think you're signing someone there. Declan, once again, like you say, won the Super 2 title, so it was looking quite promising. Probably didn't get the runs on the board with Tickford, but maybe didn't get the time as well. And then he's run some GT stuff, but I haven't seen too much in that, like as in wins or that sort of thing. So it's an interesting grab for me. Like, we all know Declan and everything, and he is obviously competitive, but it's an interesting one with the options out there. Like, I would have probably thought that they may keep Golding and Ojeda. So like, instead of like a full rebuild, I thought that maybe that's what the team would do. But obviously it'll be interesting. I think that personally, obviously RD's going there, but I think it's a 3-year rebuild, really, with, well, who knows if it's that long, but I think you've got pretty much 2 rookies now, nearly. Like, they've both done a little bit in main series, but sort of starting fresh, and you got to build a team around them, do a lot of stuff. I'm guessing next year, like, they're not going to have, which, like you say, who knows how much it's helping them, but they can't buy our setups next year. So they've sort of got to go off on their own philosophy and all of that sort of stuff. I think that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think, you can probably cover off more. If we go, do we keep going down the driver lineup, or do we talk about RD going there while we're on?
I think we'll cover all the drivers off next.
Yep.
So then,
Looking for your next ride or reliable servicing without the hassle? Lancaster Motor Group is your go-to destination. Whether you're after a brand new or quality pre-owned vehicle, great finance options, or expert servicing and parts, they deliver. With a focus on customer satisfaction, transparent deals, and trusted brands, Lancaster makes car buying easy and driving worrying-free. Visit lancastermotors.com.au today to explore your options, book a test drive, or schedule a service.
3 cars for 888.
Yeah. But I didn't even know it was happening. So...
Bullshit.
No, everyone says that it's like the Ford deal. I found out the Ford deal the day before. They kept that so quiet. And... the 3-car thing, well, we had Bathurst, a week and a half ago, and I only found out about it there, and I hit a few people up, and I kind of could tell by the way I asked the people asked in the team that it was happening, but they wouldn't tell me. They were saying, no, we're not sure. We have spoken to them, but, we're not sure if it's going to happen. So obviously they knew, but literally, I think we got told the day before, Jamie, which is pretty normal. Like, I guess they don't want it to get out, but yeah, we're going to 3 cars with the SCT car coming across. So
there were some wild rumours of drivers going around at Bathurst who's going to be driving it. Obviously, there was the main one, which was Zach,
Yep.
which I thought it was definitely going to be him. And then there was like a Chaz one going around, which was like really strange to me that some of the other journo companies covered off. And
Yeah.
that was
strange.
That was a bit strange. Yeah, I don't really how that come about. But yeah, and then obviously, can we say who it is?
Well, I actually don't know who it is. That's the thing. Like, well, let's cover off. Like, I haven't been told in any way at all. I think there's, what would the word be? There's people are alluding to someone just out of things they've heard.
Yeah. So,
but who do you think it should be first? Because we actually don't know.
I think it should be Zach Bates.
Yep.
And that's who I thought it was going to be, but apparently it's Jackson Walls.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone's hearing. So I haven't actually heard that inside the team. To be honest, it's been kept very quiet, which is hard in motorsport. Like, obviously, it got kept very quiet that they were even switching the cars across. But the driver, I've asked plenty of people in the team, but I believe that Andy Jones, who is the,
Manages the
SCT thing,
car.
he makes all the decisions on the driver. So pretty much it's up to him. And we even had Jack Smith we rang before to ask. I'll ring him again in a second and we'll ask him who the driver is again. So I'll get that up. But well, Jack Smith, a mate that obviously used to drive it and they own the car. We keep asking him. But yeah, I don't know. I think Zach has done a very good job as a wild card, and I think Zach in a third car could potentially get results in top 3, but I'm not sure who they're going to put in. So if they put Jackson Walls in, what's your thoughts, I guess?
You better be winning a lot of races in Super 2 before you make a step up into main game, especially if you're driving for a great team in Super 2.
So you're saying because Triple Eight is so good in Super 2, he should have won more races?
100%. Yeah, I mean, well, like we've seen this year, right? So we've got Tickford that are running 4 Super 2 cars, or I think it's 4, and they're like 1, 2, 3, 4 in the championship or something.
Yep.
So there's no reason why those 2 T8 cars shouldn't be fighting against those 4 Tickford cars, or those three Tickford cars every single weekend. So, and Jackson's done plenty of racing with doing Porsche Cup stuff. Benny's probably a little bit different because he's probably a lot greener than what Jackson is as far as that stuff. Like I think it's Benny's first full season in Trans Am, and he's doing Super 2 at the same time. So it's a big step for him. But yeah, to jump into main game is a massive step, and you better be winning a lot of races. And there's I guess a lot of talk going on that it's a bought ride as well, which I find pretty interesting. Being 888 was always such a prestigious place to go to drive for. And, the old saying was, you need to treat drivers professionally and pay them, was the old saying from the old boss. But, yeah, it's interesting how it's going out. I mean, it is a business at the end of the day. But, yeah, I'd find it interesting to see how, I guess the team would react, with trying to find personnel to work on that car, depending on how it goes. And, because we know from, I guess, our time in the sport that being a good driver, you can generally bring your crew along with you as far as like on the journey to success. And, it makes everyone more hungry to do better, drives healthy competition throughout the team. But, yeah, it's easy to get excited about Zach Bates, and it's hard to get excited about Jackson Walls. So he has won a race, though, at QR, so it's at least one race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm keen just to hear it.
But Zach's also had a shit year in Super 2 as well, so...
Yeah.
But he's also qualified... When he did the wild card, he was...
But he's won a Super 2 championship.
He has.
So I think it shows that something else is... Yeah, he's just... Something's going on there this year that hasn't clicked. He's won a... Yeah, it's... I don't know. There's so many rumours out there, like you say, of so many different drivers. So I honestly am unsure if it's definitely going to, like when we're filming this, if it'd be Jackson, because I don't know, but I'm very keen to see the driver.
Do you know when the
announcement.
driver, like, surely they'd say, "Oh, the driver's getting announced at some point."
No, I haven't heard. That's a weird thing. Like I believe that they've signed someone, but haven't said when it's going to come out. I did hear something that they wanted to put it out before Gold Coast, just so that there wasn't so many questions over the weekend about who it was and all that. And everyone just like we're kind of doing now. Everyone just alludes to someone and speculating and all of that. So I think they're wanting to remove that side of it, but. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Like,
how do you feel about it? Like, if it were to be someone that's paid their way in,
I'm not sure how much I can comment on it, to be honest. With drive for the team, like I didn't see it coming. I wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't see that Triple Eight would run a customer car, sort of. But I do also understand from their point of view, like you said, it's a business. So you want to keep making money to keep the business successful and be able to support the other cars and all that sort of stuff. I completely get that. Like, it's that at the end of the day. I think the other perspective from it that I've heard from one or two people is that we're already running a wild card for 3 rounds and we run nearly a full crew for the wild card program. So 3 rounds to 14 rounds is a lot different, but that's kind of a little bit.
Yeah, I'm struggling to math it there.
Yeah, but that's kind
Sounds
of been
like
a little bit
justification to me.
Well, potentially, but that's kind of the way it's been sold a little bit as well, is we've already got the crew there. We won't do the wild card program and that sort of stuff. So I can't really comment on it until I hear more about it internally. You know what I mean? Like the driver hasn't been announced, all of that sort of stuff.
So we'll wait for your comments after you've heard more internally.
Yeah. So I'm just delaying it till we'll wait and see to not get myself in trouble. But no, it'll be interesting. We'll wait and see. I think it'll very much come down to the driver and that sort of stuff to everything there and then to their competitiveness next year, to how the team gels around that, because I do think that when Triple Eight, looking back in previous years when they ran the 3 cars, as a proper 3-car team with Lounsey there and competitiveness and all that, and like you say, the person that gets signed will really need to make sure they perform next year so that the crew on their car are enjoying it as well, because it's very hard, and I've even seen it this year, me not getting as many results as Brock, it's hard for the crew. Like,
you're third in the championship.
Third in the championship, but it's still tough for them watching the other car do so well. So I think being the 3rd car at Triple Eight, not being rude, but a lot of other teams that run 3 or 4 cars probably aren't. None of the cars are consistently in the top 10. So it's not so bad for each crew. They're all in the same position. But for our team, if you have 2 cars running top 3 and you don't have one 5th, 6th, 7th, it's probably not acceptable. So I reckon it'll be very interesting to see who they put in the car, what happens there, the results, everything next year. So I'm keen to see how it plays
ask the punters, the fans, who do you guys think should be in the car? Comment down below.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Who do you think should be in the car? What do you think of it? Obviously, it's interesting that Triple Eight are going to 3 cars. That they obviously did that for Lounsey because they wanted to keep him and farewell him and all that. So drop some comments and we might even answer them a bit later with some shorter clips or something like that. We've only got a little bit of time left. So who else? Nick Perat announced his retirement.
Yep,
that was big.
That's a shock.
That's a shock.
Yeah, that was a shock. So yeah, it's interesting, and I mean they haven't announced their drivers for next year as well. So yeah, I mean they need 2.
I keep hearing Jack LeBrock's going there.
Jack LeBrock's going back there, and and I think Job will take over the 9.
It looks like
which he's done a good job every time he's jumped in. So
he deserves
it's also hard to read too when you look at I guess Job hasn't had the greatest time in Super 2, but we've also driven those cars and the motors are not motors.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I don't know. I'm just finding Super 2 harder and harder to go off, because I wouldn't have said that Job deserved a main game seat until I watched all his co-driving efforts, and he did a very good job, and I think he deserves one now. And then, I only had his Super 2 to go off before that. So I think nearly Super 2 is just experience now, but you need to look past it and try and work out how, if you think that person's good through co-driving.
If you actually take Tickford out of the equation of Super 2, the whole field looks different.
Yeah.
Like they've just come in and spanked everyone.
Yeah. With all their drivers, so they just seem to be doing a better job with the cars, obviously. But yeah, right, so Percut's out, which is disappointing. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, because he'd have to land a plum co-driver seat.
You'd think so.
So
Well, there's rumours of Groves needing a co-driver, Garth retiring.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that they might. Well, I think they nearly need 2.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
So see what happens there.
There's definitely plenty of good co-drivers going around.
Yeah, Nick will find a good co-drive. Obviously, goes and does his go-karting team that he seems to be doing well out of and enjoying and everything there. So he does that. The MSR seats LeBrock in 1. The second, I don't know yet. I think that's going to be questionable.
You're looking for a sponsor, yeah.
Looking for a sponsor. We hear Zach Bates, obviously, like that's been in the articles and all that sort of stuff. So I think that'd be a massive pickup for them.
Yeah, it would be.
If they can get a sponsor on board and get him. I feel like he'd do a really good job, and they're probably not just getting someone that's just bringing money, then they're getting someone with potential. So that'll be interesting. So that's MSR, Premier done, Blanchard Racing done, BJR now.
Well, they've got Cam Hill, Macaulay, and Andre.
Cam Hill's a good signing. Yeah. I think they did a good job to get him.
I think so too. He's been doing a really good job lately.
Yeah, so I think he deserved to probably go somewhere that, I don't know, he's probably not taking much money there and sort of all that sort of stuff. So hopefully it'll be interesting because he's done a really good job throughout certain parts of this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares up against Andre and Macaulay. That'll be pretty big to see what happens there. But yeah, there's heaps of movement. Have we missed anyone? Is anyone else Job? There's a lot of movement, isn't there?
There is a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Reynolds has re-signed with Team 18.
Yeah, Reynolds has re-signed.
So that's locked in there. So that's the GMHT team next year is Anton and Dafford. So
how's the bloody jumping around though? This always confused me in supercars though. LeBrock's gone from MSR to Erebus back to MSR. And then like people are kind of just jump teams. Like is there, and this I quite like Jack, but is there at one stage I just go, you've been there, you've come back, like let's get a rookie? Or what, like is it just what you're getting with them? You're getting a,
I think it comes down to money in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, well maybe. Yeah.
Some teams operate, on
a tighter budget. Yeah, need more drivers to help with
don't
funding.
have the partnerships or sponsorships to run the car and pay the drivers. So some drivers got to bring sponsors or, pay for their ride. So
yeah, that's true.
there's always been that in motorsport. So it happens in F1.
Well, it happens in every category throughout the world. So that's interesting. Looking to take your ride to the next level? Wheel Pros Australia has you covered. With the biggest range of performance wheels, tyres and accessories, they bring the world's most iconic brands right to your driveway. From Fuel Off-Road and KMC to Rotiform and American Racing. Whether you're chasing off-road toughness, street performance, or that perfect show-stopping style, Wheel Pros has the gear to match. Don't just drive, stand out. Visit wheelpros.com.au today and find the perfect fit for your car. Well, you've got 10 minutes, so take it away with the Premier Roland Dane going there. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I reckon it's great for the sport.
I think it's good for the sport because it's going to be interesting to see.
And he doesn't do anything halfway. So, I've been pretty privileged to spend a lot of time with him and know him pretty well over the years. And the RD that I got to know when he left the sport was a lot different than the RD in the sport. And you can probably agree with me on that. So when he was in the sport, day in, day out, he was a hard mofo to get along with and talk to, and was
full focus,
and just lives and breathes it. So, and I can sort of see that coming back now, which is interesting.
Do you think he brings, like a few of the boys at Triple Eight said he used to come in every morning, go downstairs, see all the boys, do everything at 7 a.m. when all the boys were in every day, apparently. Do you think he's in a Premier every morning at 7 a.m.? Is that the sort of level of dedication we're getting?
I reckon that's the level of dedication we'll see out of him.
Really?
Again, I reckon he's,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I say this because when I did that Trans Am race with him, and, it was an enduro, it was at QR. Paul and I were doing it for a bit of fun, but he goes off, reads the whole fucking rule book from front to back because it's double ASA, so it's a whole different, it's not Motorsport Australia. reads the whole thing front to back, and then goes. I missed the driver's briefing because I was doing something in the workshop, and apparently he goes to the driver's briefing, and there was issues in the sup regs, like conflicting stuff. So he's arguing in the driver's briefing at a local club meet, like Roland, Dane, like friggin' 500-time Supercars champion, friggin' 30-time Bathurst. But I mean, obviously exaggerated, but and he's in this club room, like just like going, oh, this is conflicting this, and this is not that, and this isn't right, and this can be better in the driver's briefing. So he takes everything to another level, and like all the little 1%ers, which I believe is more important than ever with Gen 3, I think was the pioneer in it. And, when you walk into Triple Eight, he built that and I not only say it from, it's easy to look at things when you look at him from, goggles, like watching from the TV and like what he's done. But like when you actually walk into Triple Eight, he built a kitchen to feed all these employees and got a chef in and, subsidised it so everyone could be fed properly and they enjoy coming to work. They enjoy all sitting, having lunches together, brings everyone in and makes them, a team. So, he's got really good foresight with all that stuff. So I reckon it'd be interesting to see what he does.
And how long do you reckon it takes him to win a race?
Well, to be honest, like Premier's, they've had a really bad year, like really bad, but they almost won at Tasmania.
Yeah, true.
Like Jimmy was like, oh, he was gone.
Was he leading?
He was leading.
Oh, really? Who got him?
Brock. But I don't know how. There was like a safety car or pit stop or something.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what happened. But yeah, he was like, he drove away like 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Be cool to talk to Roland and see, or I guess we're just going to have to wait and see next year, but just see, like, it is going to be very interesting to hear the level of dedication and hear what changes in that team and all of that sort of stuff throughout the time, because has got a few Triple Eight, obviously, crew that were, Ludo, Romy, all those guys that are there as well. So I reckon it'll be interesting. Do you reckon he tries poaching many people?
I think so.
Yeah, right.
I think so. I think he's been already strutting around already.
Yep.
Just been getting his shopping list in order.
And what? Yeah, right. I wonder who he tries getting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I don't think it'll just be Triple Eight people.
I'm more interested in seeing who he keeps.
Yeah, true.
Because there's obviously a few people there that have had really good past and been really successful in time, but it hasn't worked at Premier. That's for sure.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that is with building, and we've seen this multiple times, and it's going to be interesting to see how he builds it. You've seen it. I think they talk back to Manly when back in the day in the footy field, they grabbed all the best players and built the best team, and it just didn't perform. But then, and that's happened multiple times throughout sport. They go and get the best people, but then a band of misfits like us at Erebus back in the day that were sort of grabbed from here, there, and everywhere. It was like that robot TV thing back in the day where they just go and get a broken part.
Yeah, but it's hard to create that culture where you stop. Like this happens in supercars a lot, where you get a team and it owns a team. They put someone in charge. That person basically, instead of doing their job properly, they'll just report to the team owner the whole time and literally cover their backside.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like a really bad thing, I reckon, in the sport, is where, like you get a lot of guys that come in and instead of actually just getting on with it, and like that's why Erebus worked when we were...
Well, like I was just thinking, like, and not taking anything away from anyone at Erebus, but we were not the best at the time. We were not the two best at the time. Like maybe there could have been younger, more established guys, but then Tom Moore, like great engineer, but fresh out of Super 2. Like George had come across from Kelly's, like guys had stepped up in from number 3 mechanics to number 1s or whatnot, and it all banded together to build a great team because everyone worked together. But everyone was extremely intelligent and capable and good in their role, but probably not just yet. They had a bit of experience or stuff to learn and all that sort of stuff. But it built a winning team where sometimes you go and grab. It
comes back to that list that Barry wrote.
Yeah, well, that's true.
It was like, we're going to make it, this has to work. This is it.
Yeah, and sometimes
you guys are going to work together.
Sometimes the thing that it has to work. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes the thing that it has to work. But I don't know. You go and do your fantasy supercar team and go and grab the best engineers, the best this and that, put them all in a team together. You might not. You might not actually win.
Yeah.
every weekend.
It's hard because egos get in the way of,
That's right.
forward progress. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think, every time he puts his name to something, he's always, invested 110% and really cares about what he does.
Yep.
And I think that's why he's been so successful. So, I don't think he'll go at this halfway.
Oh, no, 100%. I'm just keen. He's obviously extremely smart. Like you say, I'm very interested to see which way he goes about it and people and, like you say, who he keeps. And, obviously, I'm guessing behind the scenes is that he said there needs to be a clean out. Like with those two drivers, I know we're looking at it now, but he's been there. He was with them at Grand Prix at the start of this year because, we obviously noticed that at Triple Eight that Roland was coming with them. I think he's a big...
Was Triple Eight getting upset?
I think there was words at the time. Very nice, gentle words. But I think that I think he's obviously been involved in already the clean out of the two drivers, and obviously the new drivers getting involved. Declan Fraser won the Super 2 championship when Roland was still with Triple Eight. I don't know, I don't know his link with Ojeda, or he just thinks he's good, and Ojeda is good. But I think we're already seeing Roland do the clean out and start trying to rebuild, I guess.
Yeah, but I think there's still a lot of moving parts I think are still yet to play out. So, and he keeps everything pretty
tight.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But, maybe we'll ask everyone, how do you reckon they'll go first season? How long before they win a race?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that? So, I think we're running short on this episode. We thought we'd put a little bonus episode in there of just there's been so many moving parts, to be honest. I didn't expect it to be this crazy this year.
It's cool.
It is cool. It's good. It's good. It's been interesting. So I think nearly all the puzzles have fallen into line. It's just that MSR seat now, the T8 one, once it gets announced, whatever's going on there. That's about it, really.
Yeah,
so,
and we better get to it because we've got to go to the back straight chicane. Is that where we're going?
Is that where we're going?
I think so. I don't know. We have to check our phones. But I've got a championship I've got to go win. So see you guys later.
No, thank you.